Hello, my friend. I'm Dr. John Barnes. I'm 60 years old, and for more than 3 decades I've had the privilege of walking alongside thousands of older patients here in the United States. And I've seen one truth again and again. After 60, our eyes are not as clear as they once were, and sleep, the very heartbeat of our health, often loses its peace. Have you ever experienced this? You wake up in the morning and your eyes feel gritty, dry, like sand is stuck inside them. You pick up a newspaper or your phone, and the words blur together. By evening, it's as if a light fog has settled over everything you see. And driving at night, something you once did without a second thought, suddenly feels frightening because of the glare of headlights. In daily life, maybe you have to squint just to recognize the face of someone you love. Maybe when you read the paper or watch TV, the colors no longer look as bright and vivid as they used to. And deep inside, a quiet sadness whispers, "I'm losing the light of my life." One of my patients, Linda, 68 years old, once said to me with tears in her eyes, "Doctor, I'm not afraid of my eyesight getting weaker. I'm afraid that one day I won't be able to see the faces of my grandchildren." Perhaps you've felt that same fear yourself. The truth is, after 60, our eyes slowly lose their ability to repair themselves at night. Blood flow to the retina declines. Stress, worry, and restless nights only accelerate the damage to the optic nerve. Science calls it silent, cumulative damage. You may not notice it right away, but one day, the change in your vision suddenly feels undeniable. And this isn't just about seeing clearly or not. It's about freedom and dignity. When you hesitate to step outside, when you depend on your children just to read a piece of paper or run an errand, you lose more than your vision. You lose independence, and with it, a piece of your joy. But I want you to hold on to hope. Because there is hope. And the journey back doesn't always start with something big. Sometimes, it begins with something as simple as a warm cup of tea in the evening. A small habit that can open the door to brighter eyes and deeper sleep. I'd like to begin with bilberry tea, because for many of my older patients, it has become almost like a companion in the dark. And you might be wondering, why is that? There's a famous story from World War II. British pilots, before flying their night missions, would often eat bilberry jam because they believed it helped them see better in the dark. At the time, there was no scientific proof. But today, we know that bilberries are rich in anthocyanins, powerful antioxidants that help regenerate rhodopsin, the purple pigment in the retina. And rhodopsin is what allows us to see in low-light conditions. When rhodopsin declines, we start experiencing what's called night blindness. Headlights feel blinding. Walking in dim light becomes uncertain. Even moving around your own home at night can feel unsafe. I remember one of my patients, George, age 73. During a routine checkup, he looked at me and said, "Doctor, I hate going outside at night. The moment I step into the yard, I need a flashlight. And every time a car passes by, the glare from the headlights blinds me so badly I can't see a thing." I suggested he try drinking bilberry tea 2 or 3 nights a week as part of his evening ritual. A month later, he came back with a smile I'll never forget. "Doctor, I walked all the way to the end of my yard last night without a flashlight. It's not like I see perfectly again, but I feel confident. I feel safe." Bilberry tea isn't a miracle cure. It won't turn your eyes back to when you were 20. But it is like a gentle friend who quietly works each night, strengthening tiny blood vessels, reducing inflammation, and improving circulation to the retina. It protects the rod cells, the night warriors of the eye, so they can keep helping you navigate the darkness. I want you to imagine this. Stepping out onto your porch at night, seeing the soft glow of the porch light spill across the path, the trees swaying gently in the breeze. And instead of fear, you feel calm. You feel free. You feel like your eyes are still yours to trust. That is the quiet gift of a warm cup of bilberry tea. Chamomile tea. When most people think of chamomile tea, they immediately picture a soothing bedtime drink, something that helps you relax and fall asleep. But through the eyes of an eye doctor, I see much more. To me, chamomile tea is a small cup holding a gentle kind of power, one that not only helps you drift into deep sleep, but also gives your eyes the chance to heal naturally. Chamomile contains a compound called apigenin. Think of apigenin as a tiny key that gently unlocks the GABA receptors in your brain, inviting your body into a state of deep relaxation. After the age of 60, your body produces far less melatonin, the hormone that regulates sleep. That's why sleep becomes lighter, more fragmented, more restless, and when deep sleep is lost, the body's ability to repair itself, especially the eyes, is disrupted. It's during those deep hours of rest that the eyes rehydrate, flush out toxins, and repair the microscopic damage of the day. I remember one of my patients, Linda, age 68. She once told me her mornings felt like waking up with 2 pieces of sandpaper rubbing against each other. Every morning her eyes were dry, burning, and she had to blink over and over just to get them open. I encouraged her to try a cup of warm chamomile tea before bed. 2 weeks later, she returned with a radiant smile. "Doctor, I woke up and my eyes felt comfortable. No more burning. I had forgotten what that felt like." Chamomile is also a natural anti-inflammatory. It soothes the eyelids, reduces puffiness, relieves dryness, and gently widens the tiny blood vessels that nourish the retina. Imagine this. After a cup of chamomile tea, as you fall into sleep, it's as if a soft, warm blanket is being laid over your eyes, protecting them, comforting them, letting them rest. What I love most about chamomile tea is how safe and gentle it is. No dependency, no grogginess in the morning, just calm, natural, restorative sleep. And when your sleep is peaceful, your eyes finally get the chance to come back to life. So if you've been waking up with burning, tired eyes, let chamomile tea become your faithful companion. Your eyes will thank you, and so will your soul. Next, let me take you to another favorite of mine, lemon balm tea. Over my 30 years of working with older patients, I've learned something important. It's not always age or lack of vitamins that makes eyesight decline. There's another silent enemy: stress and anxiety. When you're under stress, your body pumps out cortisol. Blood vessels tighten, eye pressure rises, and slowly, almost invisibly, the optic nerve begins to feel the strain. Most people never realize that everyday stress may be one of the biggest factors accelerating vision loss. That's why I love lemon balm tea. This gentle herb, also called melissa or lemon balm, contains rosmarinic acid and other natural compounds that help rebalance the nervous system. In simple terms, it guides your body from the fight-or-flight mode back into rest and repair. And it's in that calm state, when the body feels safe, that the eyes can truly breathe, relax, and heal. I remember Mary, a 70-year-old patient with mild glaucoma. She often complained of a tight, heavy feeling behind her eyes, especially when she was anxious or couldn't sleep. I suggested she add lemon balm tea to her evening routine. A month later, she returned with a gentle smile. "Doctor, I'm finally sleeping better. My eyes feel less tense. The pressure, the heaviness, it's not weighing me down anymore." Think of each sip of lemon balm as a soft embrace for your nervous system. It relaxes the muscles around your eyes, steadies eye pressure, and invites a deeper, more restful sleep. In fact, studies have shown that lemon balm, when used regularly, can reduce light sensitivity and glare, 2 common struggles for older adults. But here's what makes lemon balm truly special. It doesn't just work on the eyes, it works on the soul. After a long day of worries, noise, and endless to-dos, a simple cup of lemon balm tea feels like setting down an invisible weight. Your mind eases, your body unwinds, and in that stillness, your eyes finally have the chance to recover. I often tell my patients, your eyes don't just need nutrients, they need peace, and lemon balm tea is exactly that. Peace, poured gently into a warm cup. If chamomile is like a soft blanket that tucks you into sleep, then fennel tea is like a quiet stream flowing into your eyes, nourishing the retina through every tiny blood vessel. Most people know fennel as an herb for digestion, but through the lens of medicine, I see it as a circulation remedy for aging eyes. Fennel contains natural compounds like flavonoids and anethole. These have the ability to relax the smooth muscles of blood vessels, allowing blood to flow more freely. Picture your retina as a beautiful garden, and blood as the water that keeps it alive. When the vessels tighten, that water can't reach the flowers. The garden wilts. But when the vessels open and circulation flows, the retina receives the oxygen and nutrients it needs, and your eyes can stay brighter and healthier for longer. I think of David, age 66, who once told me, "Doctor, every evening it feels like a fog settles over my eyes. By the time I try to read or watch TV, everything looks blurred." I suggested he add a cup of fennel tea after dinner, as part of his nightly routine. A few weeks later, he returned with relief in his voice. "Doctor, I can read into the late hours now without my eyes feeling heavy or cloudy. These small changes may seem simple, but they matter enormously. Fennel tea isn't a miracle. It won't turn your eyes back to 20, but it can give you clarity, confidence, and more evenings where you can read, watch TV, or chat with loved ones, without your eyes holding you back. There's also a bonus. Fennel bridges the digestive system with the nervous system. When your stomach feels at ease, your whole body is more likely to relax. And when the body relaxes, blood flows evenly throughout, including to the eyes. That's why fennel tea often feels like a gentle sigh of relief for vision. So, if your eyes often feel tired, blurry after a long day on screens, or strained when reading at night, try a cup of fennel tea. It doesn't shout, it doesn't rush. It simply opens the stream, quietly nourishing your eyes all night long. Among the 6 teas I'm sharing with you today, green tea is probably the most familiar. Americans, Asians, even Europeans have been drinking it for centuries. But what many don't realize is that inside every sip of green tea lies a kind of shield for your eyes, especially as we grow older. The secret lies in its powerful antioxidants called catechins, with the most famous being EGCG, epigallocatechin gallate. To put it simply, every single day, blue light from screens, pollution in the air, and the natural aging process all create free radicals, tiny but destructive enemies that attack the cells of your retina. Left unprotected, those free radicals can damage your vision, leading to cataracts or macular degeneration. Catechins in green tea act like brave warriors, rushing in to neutralize free radicals and keep your retina safe. I think of Frank, age 69. His doctor had told him he was showing early signs of cataracts. He worried deeply that one day his eyesight would fade so much he wouldn't be able to read his books or watch baseball, the 2 things he loved most. I encouraged him to add a light cup of green tea to his evening routine, as a natural way to boost his antioxidants. Months later, at a follow-up, his cataracts had slowed in progression. Frank smiled and said, "Doctor, maybe I can't hold on to perfect eyesight forever, but I've gained more time to enjoy life." Beyond protecting the eyes, green tea also lowers cholesterol, stabilizes blood pressure, and improves circulation, all of which indirectly support eye health. But there's one important note. Green tea does contain caffeine. For older adults, drinking it too strong or too late can interfere with sleep. That's why I always recommend a mild brew, enjoyed about an hour or 2 before bed. What I love most about green tea is its balance. It doesn't just protect your retina, it also leaves you feeling clear, calm, and refreshed. A gentle cup in the evening is like a cool breeze, enough to sweep away fatigue, enough to shield your eyes, yet light enough to let your body ease into sleep. Sometimes the greatest strength lies in the simplest habits. And a cup of green tea each day may be one of the simplest, yet most powerful, habits you can gift your eyes after 60. Of the 6 teas I've shared with you today, rooibos may be the least familiar. It comes from South Africa, where local people have used it for hundreds of years as a drink of peace and comfort. What makes it especially unique is that rooibos is completely caffeine-free, which means it's perfectly safe for the evening, especially for older adults who need restful sleep. But beyond that, rooibos carries some hidden treasures for your eyes. Inside rooibos are 2 rare compounds, aspalathin and quercetin. Think of them as tiny shields for your retina. Every day, your retina battles oxidative stress, the invisible damage caused by free radicals. Over time, this stress is one of the major drivers behind macular degeneration and diabetic retinopathy. Aspalathin and quercetin act like watchful guards, sweeping away free radicals and keeping your eye cells stronger and more resilient. I remember Henry, age 72, who was living with type 2 diabetes. His biggest worry was diabetic eye complications, something that could steal his vision at any moment. I suggested he switch his evening coffee and black tea for a cup of rooibos instead. A few months later, he returned and told me, "Doctor, I'm sleeping so much better. And at my last eye exam, the specialist told me my retinal blood vessels still looked stable." Do you see? One small change, yet it made a big difference for both his health and his peace of mind. What I love about rooibos is that it doesn't just protect the eyes. It also helps stabilize blood sugar, support the heart, and calm the whole body. No caffeine jitters, no racing heartbeat, just a gentle wave of comfort spreading through you. I often tell my patients, rooibos is the tea of reassurance. When you drink it in the evening, the stress of the day begins to melt away. Your eyes are shielded, your heart is soothed, and your spirit is finally allowed to rest. Picture this. After a long day, you're sitting in a warm kitchen, holding a steaming cup of rooibos. You take a slow breath out, and in that moment, it's more than just tea. It's a ritual of healing. A way of telling your body it's safe to relax. And your eyes, those lifelong companions, quietly thank you for the gift. My friend, your eyes have been with you your entire life. They've seen the smile of your grandchild on graduation day. They've witnessed the presence of your lifelong partner through years of joy and sorrow. They've admired the brilliant sky, the pages of books you've loved, and the memories you've carried in your heart. And yet, as we enter our later years, our eyes begin to weaken. Along with that weakness comes a quiet set of fears. The fear of the dark, the fear of losing independence, the fear of missing the most precious moments of life. I know that feeling because I've heard it from thousands of my patients, and maybe you felt it too, silently. But today, I want you to remember this. You are not powerless. Even at 60 and beyond, your body still carries the ability to heal. Your eyes can still be nourished, if only you give them the chance. And that chance doesn't have to be something big. It can begin with something as simple as a warm cup of tea at night. When you sit down, sip slowly, and let the warmth move through you. You're not just drinking tea. You are sending your body a gentle message. It's time to rest. It's time to heal. It's time for my eyes to be restored. So, I invite you. Begin tonight. Each evening, choose just one type of tea. No need to mix them. Rotate them throughout the week. Chamomile tonight, bilberry tomorrow, then fennel, green tea, lemon balm, and rooibos. Each brings its own gift to your eyes and your spirit. Drink it about 30-45 minutes before bed. And while you sip, give yourself a few minutes of stillness. Write a line in your journal. Take a deep breath. Or simply sit quietly and listen to your heartbeat. This is more than tea. This is a ritual of self-love. A small habit, yes, but one that can bring you clearer eyes, deeper sleep, and the joy of waking up tomorrow with energy and hope. My friend, thank you for staying with me until the very end of today's video. If you're still here listening to these words, it means you truly care about your eyes and your health. And I want you to know how deeply I respect and appreciate that. Remember, it's often the small habits, like a simple cup of tea in the evening, that can bring the greatest changes. For your eyes, for your sleep, and even for your heart. And my hope is that you'll begin this journey of caring for yourself tonight. Before we say goodbye, I'd love to ask you for 3 small favors. If this video brought you value, please give it a like. It really helps support this channel. Leave me a comment below and share your own evening routine or experience. I would love to hear your story. And don't forget to share this video with friends or family who may also need gentle care for their eyes and health after 60. Finally, I invite you to subscribe to Radiant Senior Health so we can continue this journey together. Every week, I'll bring you natural, safe, and practical solutions to help you live healthier, happier, and more radiant in your golden years. I wish you a peaceful evening, a restful night's sleep, and a beautiful morning tomorrow. With clear eyes and a hopeful heart. I'll see you in the next video on Radiant Senior Health.